Jon is the GOAT. And who would not want the opportunity to compete? Like if you're Francis, you want the opportunity to fight the greatest to ever do it. As a coach, you want the opportunity to game plan against, in my opinion, the greatest to ever do it. And then go up against Greg Jackson and Brandon Gibson and guys that I love and respect. For me, I get in those positions of not being a coach. I say it being a fan. It's like, oh, dude, this would be so sick. And then right away, what Jon goes to Twitter and says, this excites me to be able to fight Francis. So I was like, oh. So I'm on the phone with Francis and talking to him, and he was like, you see that tweet by Jon?
Yeah.
Like, dude, I talk to Pat a lot. I love my relationship that I have with him because it's not coach and fighter, it's two colleagues. And I just want to give him the best resources available to help him win, bro. Like, I truly care about him and his success. That loss is on all of us, bro. Whether I'm in his corner or not, we failed as a gym to get him to where he needed to be to win. You're fighting a mother in Merab, and I think the only way to get a guy like that out of there is put a hole through his head. Like, that's it. I literally saw this get and then the tap, and I just closed my iPad and I was like, going to bed.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Verse Us with Eric Nixick. He is Eric Nixick. I am Randy Fainrich, and this is Verse Us. And you know the drill. Verse Us is brought to you by mybookie.ag. At MyBookie, you bet, you win, they pay. Head to mybookie.ag, use code VSUSPOD for a bonus on your first deposit. And today it's just a twofer. Me and Eric gonna sit here, recap UFC 316, talk a little bit about what's been going on over the last week or so. What's going on, man? How are you?
I don't know. Am I in trouble again?
I don't know. Are you? Because every time I look on Twitter, Eric's fucking trending at some point. Some media.
I'm not allowed to say anything anymore.
Some media outlet has picked something up and they've ran with it. So yeah, let's start there. Actually, let's just dive right into it. We talked about it with Luke on last week's episode about Francis, reinvigorating the heavyweight division.
Sure.
And you do an interview with Dan Tom, and you basically say, Francis is open to a return, or basically that Francis never closed the door. It was more from the UFC side.
Sure.
So
I think to clarify my point, in the way that Francis has looked to conduct business, his ideal situation is to never not be able to conduct business to who he wants to do business with.
Great way to put it.
Is that right?
100%.
So
never fully close the door.
Never fully close the door on anything.
Yeah.
And I think that's what he's always wanted, in having the negotiation power to be able to be an independent contractor, a true independent contractor, to make his services available to the highest bidder.
Yep.
That's it. Whoever the organization is, whether it's the motherfucker go play soccer right now, if they offer him the right amount of money. I've been trying to get him to play 3-4 defensive end in the NFL, right?
Yeah. For years.
For years.
Yeah.
So, Dan Tom, great friend of mine, teammate, guy I've known for a long time. His question was basically just that. Is that opportunity ever, and Francis has never closed the door to that.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. I mean, there's only been one person who said we're never going to do business with Francis Ngannou again. And it wasn't Francis Ngannou.
Right.
It was Dana. So talk to me a little bit about, I know Francis has been back in Vegas.
Yeah.
You guys been training a little bit, like the last month or so.
Yeah.
How's he doing? Like what's been the conversation? What can you reveal?
Bro, it's so great to have him home.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, his energy seems lively, playful, talking shit, just the way, and we know, anytime that there's a tragedy, it's like, come back, be back around the team, get back into training, because that's what he knows the best.
Yeah.
Is being in the gym, right? And that's gonna, kind of, I think, just get him back to neutral.
Yeah.
Dude, it was awesome. Trips back there in the fold. He's doing his S&C. I got to see Dewey on Thursday, so we're all back in the boxing gym.
Nice.
Francis has been coming back into Extreme. And bro, there's no business talk. There's nothing like that. It's just getting the boys back together, getting some training in. It's simply just been that.
Yeah. Have you been seeing the stuff on Twitter with Jon Jones, with him saying, I heard Francis Ngannou is interested in this and that?
Bro, it's so crazy how this stuff just takes I saw one little like clickbait thing. It was like Francis Ngannou negotiating with the UFC.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, it was, and Francis sent me that.
Yeah.
He's like, Bubba, did you say this? I'm like, no, not even close.
Yeah.
It was two fans of the sport, myself and Dan Tom, huge fans of the sport, and where the heavyweight division's at right now as a whole.
Yeah.
Just like you and I were talking with Luke Thomas.
Yep.
It was simply kind of, and literally it was brought up by Dan because of the interview we did with Luke. It was kind of tailed into that same question. And but it's crazy how like these media outlets just grab onto whatever and turn it into something that like, Francis wants to make himself available to whatever options that he needs, you know. And I don't know what his deal is with the PFL. He might not even be able to negotiate with any. I don't know.
Yeah, I saw his tweet. He said oh fuck my neck.
You handle business in the UFC.
Yeah. I'll handle PFL. You handle UFC. Blah blah.
So this was not ever me speaking on behalf of Francis. This was me speaking on behalf of us being fans.
Right.
Not even Francis's coach.
Right.
It's like, dude, this is what we would all love to see.
Right. And he's always been open to the return. Like you said, like I don't think there was ever a time where he said, I'll never go back to UFC. Right?
Never.
So him being open to return to the UFC is not necessarily breaking news.
No.
Like it's you know what I mean?
Or is it inside information?
Right.
I'm just saying, like,
either.
as a fan,
right?
What can these possibilities be if Francis is in that fold?
Right.
Even if it's a co-promotion, I'm not saying like he's leaving PFL to do this.
Sure.
What matchups are out there that make sense for us? And it's always been Francis always wanted to fight Jon.
Yeah.
And it sounds like Jon was right on board with that too.
Yeah, finally, after 5
Since
years.
2021.
Yeah. But did you see Dana's response last night to the Francis question? Because I thought that was really, really interesting.
No.
So
I thought, bro, I was out.
Yeah.
I was out like Sugar Sean.
Yeah.
I was out. The moment I saw Sean get choked, I was like, I'm going to bed.
Yeah. So, and we'll touch on the fights here in a second, but a reporter said, you know, hey, you know, there was a report Francis Ngannou open to coming back to UFC. You know, Jon tweeted that he wants to fight, blah, 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 this and that. What are your thoughts? And Dana answered it, and I don't pay attention, this and that. And then they're like, would you be, are you open to negotiating with Ngannou, blah, blah, blah. And his answer was probably not.
If you were put in the position, would you maybe try to get Ngannou back under contract or no?
Probably not.
Yeah.
And to me, that was interesting because 4 months ago, it was, we will never do business with Francis Ngannou
Now it's
again.
probably.
Now it's probably not. And so I'm like, okay, all right, Turkey's making a little bit of headway in there. Okay, we see.
So you're saying there's a chance.
So I those little things I pick up on so much because
that's a
again,
great
like
point.
I know, you know, I feel like I know how that business goes. So when he said probably not, I actually was like, oh, okay.
Well, and I mean,
probably.
it might not, and to be fair, it might not be him to ever, you know, not saying it wouldn't be or he wouldn't be involved, but there are other figures within the UFC.
Yeah,
that would,
I mean, Hunter,
you know?
Turkey's definitely involved, like, you know, Nick Khan, all these guys. But I just thought that was interesting. Like,
yeah,
you know,
I didn't
probably not.
hear the interview.
I just saw the clip this morning, actually. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. I will say this. I know he's your boy. I have less than zero interest in Tom versus Francis. It has to be Jon and Francis, in my opinion.
100%.
I literally, and not that it wouldn't be a great fight.
Yeah.
I could not care less because it's like, it has to be Jon. If Francis goes back, it has to be Jon.
It has to be. I agree with that. I think there's
Title or not, too.
Right.
Like, I don't give a shit about the title.
There's a part of me that, like, from a human element, like, I would hate to see us come and just leapfrog Tom, right?
Sure.
Right. Like there's like a, but yes, that's the only thing that motivates Francis too.
I would assume so.
I don't want to speak for Francis, but like, that's the fight. It's Jon and Francis.
Yeah.
Right. That's the fight.
Yeah. I mean, it's not breaking news to say that they're both on the other side of their careers.
Right.
Like, whereas Tom is literally at the apex or, you know, getting to the apex of his career.
Sure.
So like, to me, again, as a fan, like, I just have no interest. I saw Ariel tweeting about Tom and Francis too, and because if Jon wants to retire, which I get, but I just have zero interest in that fight. It has to be Jon.
Well, I think this thing definitely kind of spread like wildfire, right? Like, it was not what I expected. in having this,
of course,
literally a casual conversation with a good friend of mine that I've known for years, and Dan Tom, who I fucking love, who's one of the best like analysts I think that, you know, when Dan wants to sit and talk, I'm always down. I've tried to take your, you know, advice, and anything that we talk about, we keep it on here. And the moment that shit happened,
I'm trying, guys.
I was like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Did I fuck this up again?
In case anybody out here is like, why doesn't he just say, I've tried. Okay. I've tried.
Am I that dumb? Yes. Yes. Apparently I am. But So, but again, like I think for me, I get in those positions of not being a coach. I say it being a fan.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, dude, this would be so sick. Like to be able to have that opportunity to fight 100%. Somebody like Jon. And then right away, what Jon goes to Twitter and says, this, you know, invigorates me. Like this excites me to be able to fight Francis. So I was like, oh, so I'm on the phone with Francis and talking to him, and he was like, you see that tweet by Jon?
Yeah.
You know, so all right.
Yep.
There's smoke, there's fire. Hopefully, I don't know.
I hope so, man. I really do. Like that's the fight that, you know, we've been talking about since, I mean, really 2020. Yeah, end of 2020.
When Jon made an interest into moving up to heavyweight.
Yeah.
When he beat Dominic Reyes, that was the plan, right? Yep. February of 2020, he moves up to heavyweight, and I'm like, oh, okay. There's serious collision course here between Stipe, Jon, Francis, Jon. Yeah. Right? Like, so the winner out of Francis and Stipe, March of 2021.
Yep.
We walked in the back. You were there. We were told
verbatim, Jon is next.
What date? Remember?
I want to say it was like September?
July.
Oh, International Fight Week.
International Fight Week.
Yeah. Yep.
They said, will he be ready? I'm like, this month will be like, we've only been training this opportunity knowing that this is going to be what's in our future.
And maybe the interim heavyweight fight in June.
I don't get it.
That shit was crazy,
bro.
Crazy.
Why we were signed to fight Derek Lewis.
Yeah.
Francis and I started camp that day.
Yep.
The Derek Lewis camp, we started that day. And then he comes in my office, I was like, yo, Luke Thomas just texted me. And he's like, what? And I was like, they just put our belt up for grabs, an interim. He was standing in my office after we just got done training.
Bro, imagine making an interim title less than 3 months after the dude won the title. He won in March, right? 21.
Sure.
April, May, June, there's an interim title fight.
When we agreed to fight Derek Lewis September 25th.
Correct.
Francis had came to my house on Sunday. We had family dinner.
Yep.
We sat and wrote out game plan notes, wrote out camp, wrote out everything. Said, see you in the morning. We start camp tomorrow, Monday. That Monday was when they announced that they were going to have an interim.
Yeah.
Right? Do you want to share why? Do you understand that whole thing?
No, go ahead. Explain it.
So Amanda was fighting Pena, I believe.
Yeah, maybe. Or was it Valentina back then?
No,
Pena.
I think it was Pena.
Yeah, okay.
So what does every numbered card have to have on there?
Title fight.
Or Connor.
Yeah.
Amanda, I think, was that fight in Houston.
Yep.
She gets sick with COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody does. The title is no longer available.
Yep.
Right? So now they're scrambling to get a title fight.
Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I wish that was just more out in the open.
Yeah.
Right? Well, rather than, Francis didn't want to.
Yeah. I also wish UFC would stop acting like their belt means literally anything.
Right.
Like it should. Sure. It should mean something, but it doesn't mean anything. They literally throw interns out there all the time. Mm-hmm. And now Tom's been interim for like 3 years. Like, it's like, come on, man.
Yeah. Almost 600 days for this poor guy.
Yeah.
Right?
And to be fair, like I would love to see Tom fight someone for the unified belt, whatever. Let Jon vacate, Francis, Jon. You get at least 2 fights out of it. It's just good business. You get at least 2 fights.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter who wins. You should do the rematch just because it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Just make it a super fight. Don't even just take the belt off.
Right.
Yeah.
The Connor method, right? Yeah. Connor Nate. Connor Dustin. Like Connor Cowboy. You didn't need belts for those pay-per-views.
Yeah.
So
make it a 5-rounder and just make it a super fight. Throw
Jon
it in
and Francis. Yeah. And if you don't want to do stadium shows, okay,
Yeah.
go do it at T-Mobile or MSG. Or
Yeah.
you could literally do that fight anywhere
Tom,
in the world, and it'll sell
Cyril,
out.
whoever for the
Yeah,
title.
yeah, Tom is and that could be the co-main.
Yeah.
No offense, but your
Right.
title's the co-main, and then that's the main event.
No, that's actually a good point.
Yeah, so that's what I would do if I was them. Is like get Francis back in the door. Tom, you could fight Cyril or Volkov, or I honestly don't even know, what other heavyweights would be title challengers right now. And Francis and Jon.
Again, we don't know. I don't know shit about
we're
contracts.
fans.
I have no fucking idea. Not a clue.
Yeah, I think Luke
I
said
don't have inside information.
Yeah.
I don't have a clue. We're talking in a perfect world. If shit was in our hands, like this would be real cool.
Yeah.
Right? Like
this would be awesome.
This would be awesome. And
That being said, the headline will be Ngannou return confirmed.
oh God. Bro, like I was seeing some of this shit. I was like, I didn't even say that. God damn it.
Oh man. Okay, well we can move on past that. Good to clear that up. But
What's up, guys? Just want to say thanks for continuing your support for the Versus Us pod. If there's anything you guys like to see more, guests, comments, constructive criticism, whatever it may be, love to hear your thoughts. Please like and subscribe to the show. Thank you guys for tuning in and enjoy the show.
again, as fans, this would be our perfect scenario.
Right.
I think
Which has always been.
right. Well, yeah. For 4 years we've been talking about 5 years.
Like I tweeted, Jon is the GOAT.
Yes.
Jon is the GOAT.
Yeah.
And who would not want the opportunity to compete
Yeah.
against Jon Jones?
Yeah. It's not a personal thing.
Hell no,
yeah,
bro. It's like what else are you supposed to do in this sport?
Yeah.
Like you want to chase greatness.
100%.
You want the opportunity to, like if you're Francis, you want the opportunity to fight the greatest to ever do it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? As a coach, you want the opportunity to game plan against, in my opinion, the greatest to ever do it.
Yeah.
That's all. And then go up against Greg Jackson and Brandon Gibson and guys that I love and respect. That's all. That's all it is.
Yeah. Well, we can only hope. I mean, new TV deal is coming up. What a way to kick off the new TV deal than with Amanda, Kayla Harrison, and Francis and Jon. Like,
there you go.
As your first two pay-per-views of the new year.
Wow.
I mean, sign me up, man. Sign me up. Okay, let's move into last night, UFC 316. I think it went about how we thought in the main and co-main. Mm-hmm. We'll get to those fights in a second. But let's actually start with any other fights outside the main card. Anything surprise you? Anything that you took an interest in?
Watched damn near all of them. I was impressed with Kevin Holland, I think, going out and getting the submission. I actually sent that pick to a buddy. I was like, this is a live pick, Kevin Holland by submission. Swear to God.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, and then right when he got on that, I think he was on Anaconda or Darce. I can't remember what he finished him with. But I was impressed with Kev. Thought he looked great. I thought the Polar Bear, Sergey Spivak and Waldo.
Yeah.
Cortez was a great fight. I know there was some controversy as far as the judging side of it goes.
Yeah, I thought Sergey won. I thought he won pretty clearly, maybe close fight, but like pretty clearly.
Sure.
Sergey, but that shit's crazy.
I thought Sergey showed some great improvements in his striking. I know it's something that he personally has not felt like, I'm a better striker, but like Francis will tell you, like when Francis last couple times going with Sergey, he's like, man, this dude's boxing's gotten way better.
Yeah.
I would have liked to seen him not abandon the wrestling as much. I think when you keep it at least as a threat, it's going to open up a guy like his striking a little bit more.
Yeah.
So I would like to see that out of him. But man, I actually had Sergey winning that fight too.
Yeah.
I don't think it was a wild robbery.
Right.
But I did have him winning that fight.
Yeah.
Man, I was bummed for Patchy.
Yeah.
You and I were texting.
Let's get that. We'll do that in 1 second. I just want to ask you two things real quick before we get to Patchy. The early prelims, the Zombie Junior or the Young Zombie. Did you see that fucking check hook, bro? That was so
tailor-made,
beautiful.
Like you couldn't make a YouTube video
on a better way to
throw it, right? Like the way he exited, the way he pivoted off,
man, and turned it over perfectly.
Oh, turned it over right last second. And the dude, I think, missed a right hand, right? He threw like a cross and kind of followed forward a little bit, or pressured forward.
Yep.
I mean, dude, my phone was blowing up.
dude.
Ige, Kai, everybody. Like, dude, did you see that? And I'm like, bro, that was unbelievable.
And that is like, I mean, there was like no power. That was like almost like if you, like, you know, they say they hit him right on the button. Like that was the button.
Yep.
He hit him so perfect that he needed just minimal power, short, like kind of like check hook or counter hook or whatever.
Just a fade check hook.
And dude, the sound.
Yep.
That's how clean it landed, was just like
And
perfect.
I want you to take it one step further. I want you to watch his footwork.
Yeah.
The way that he was able to pivot and exit off with that hook. That hook was generated from his hips and his feet.
Yeah.
If you go back and watch it, I mean, just watch his footwork. You know, everything else was perfect, right? But it was the feet that set it up, the way he did it. It reminded me of like kind of the analogy that you gave was like a Ken Griffey Jr. swing. It was just smooth, all through contact, but it came from the feet to the floor. Boom, out. Like it was a beautiful setup. And I had a DM from Korean's Army this morning. I woke up and I was like, bro, don't be trying to, but it was about something else. But I was like, and I was like, you know, this dude, that shit was nasty.
Dude, that was.
Did he bonus on that? I hope so.
I don't know, actually. I would think so.
Yeah, I hope so.
But yeah, that was just, I mean, it was so beautiful. It was so beautiful. And then the other guy I wanted to ask you about before we do the main card is this guy, Murzakhanov. He was the second to main on the prelims.
Sure. So I had a game plan against him because Johnny was going to fight him until they moved us to where are we going? Shanghai.
Okay.
So Johnny Walker was scheduled to fight him last night.
Oh, okay.
And then I don't think I'm dropping any breaking news.
Yeah.
Johnny, they asked Johnny to fight Zhang in Shanghai.
To fight who?
Zhang.
Who's that?
Our another guy that trains at our gym, that 205er.
Oh,
the Chinese guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
He just beat
Anthony Smith.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So you're fighting him in Shanghai.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was that whole thing, was like we were supposed to be fighting there. And then I don't know, right when Zhang won that fight, Mick had called and said, "Hey, look,
China.
I know you guys are teammates. You know, Zhang's been coming out and training with us, blah, blah, blah. But is this an opportunity that we want to, this is a matchup that we want to make?" So, okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's really up to you guys. I'm not the manager or the money man behind that stuff. You just tell me who we're fighting and then I'll see you there.
Yeah.
You know.
What was real quick, what was that reaction? Was Johnny and Zhang both cool with it, or?
Yeah, I think so. I think they're just, you know, of course, like they're understanding their
I mean, he was going to fight his damn near brother-in-law. Johnny was.
He was in
So,
Bogdan. Yeah. I'm the same. Like I like Zhang a lot, and you know, unfortunately, like, you know, we've had these things happen in the past, and
right.
It's just business. It's just that side of the thing we have to deal with, you know, and you're not trying to piss off the UFC either.
Right.
So, and it's a great opportunity for both guys, and you got to take it.
Yeah. But anyway, back to that guy, how do you say his name? Murzakhanov?
Sure.
Yeah. Thoughts on his performance? I thought I love dudes like that who are a little fluffy.
Sure.
don't look like the super athlete,
sleeps.
but the dude moves so well, in and out, light on his toes, and obviously great striker.
So obviously I text Johnny and I was like, you know, I kind of want to see what game plan Ribeiro comes out with.
Yeah.
And I actually, some of the things that I was looking for Johnny to do, I saw Ribeiro doing. I'm like, okay, he's having some success with that. But the one thing I was like, do not put your back up on the cage with this dude. And I think that's where he ended up getting him. Right?
Yeah,
was kind of.
He threw the left that kind of connected.
Is a right hook, southpaw?
No, he threw a left, kind of connected, but then the left that he wobbled him with hit off the top of the head.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure it was a left, like an overhand left.
Yeah.
But yes, I think it was like on at least on the black.
Red zone.
Red zone. Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, I thought that dude was. I don't think I've seen him before. And
he's been out for like 2 years.
Oh really?
Yeah, he had a tainted supplement.
Oh.
One of those things that wasn't, wasn't tainted.
Yeah.
Was it tainted?
Even if it was tainted, it ain't working because the dude's fluffy looking.
Built like fucking potato salad.
Melted ice cream.
Yeah. But he went out and did his thing.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought he looked good.
I thought he looked good too, and it's going to be interesting to see what Mick and those guys decide to do with him, because it reminds me of some of those heavyweights that they kind of rushed up into like a 5-rounder, right? Or like when Sean fought a Boost.
Yeah.
Abus did a really good job against Dustin Stolzfus. Like, all right, now, let's push him into a main event. And Sean's like, hold on.
Yeah.
So is he a guy that you want to rush into that next position, or do you want to give him somebody else down the, he's got good quality wins on his record. I think he knocked out Alonzo Minifield. I want to say he beat Dustin Jacoby too. Is that on there?
Let me check. Let's see. He beat. He was supposed to fight Krylov. That would have been a fun fight.
Oh, yeah.
He beat Minifield. He was supposed to fight Khalil. That got canceled. Supposed to fight Volkan. That got canceled. Decision against Jacoby. Devin Clark, Tafon and Chukui. And
I mean, he's got some good quality wins.
Yeah, he's got some good stuff.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see what they do with him next.
Yeah. Okay, Patchy. Let's get back to Patchy. Tough night for Patchy. Tough night for PFL and Bellator.
Sure.
Tough night for anyone outside the UFC who has been making waves. Not because they're not good, but if you come from outside of the UFC and you have one off night, you get a stamp of like you were never good enough.
Yeah.
And that's not the case.
Right.
But yeah, like you said, you and I were texting. Just overall thoughts on what went wrong for Patchy.
Right away when I look at from a technical standpoint, head off center line was not getting his head off center line, was circling the wrong direction.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was by purpose or not. I'm not in his camp, but I mean, dude, he represents Extreme Couture, and he's part of our responsibility.
Will Harris, maybe he tweeted or did he text me? I can't remember, but he's like, "Where's Eric?" Like thinking that you're in like every XC guy's.
I got a lot of those messages.
You never cornered Patchy or
no?
Okay.
I work with Patchy when he moved to Vegas for the James Gallagher fight, and then there was just a lot of stuff going on. And then obviously I started working with Rafion in the tournament. Rafion and I became real close, and then that was a possibility where Raf and Patchy might end up fighting, which they did. And then Patchy went out and did his thing and beat Raf. But dude, that was tough, man.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think a lot of people understand how hard that was on me and Patch and the team, because here's my commitment to Rafion prior to the Bellator Grand Prix, and then obviously Patchy training at Extreme. So I was trying to be diplomatic in the standpoint where, I was trying to get Patchy the cage, let him train.
So was it a thing? Because Rafion doesn't train at XC, right? But he was just with you?
Yeah. So no, he moved to XC. Here's how this all started. Rafion and Sergio Pettis were going to fight each other, right? And Rafion was told by Duke Rufus and those guys that he could not train at Rufus Sport anymore because he's fighting Sergio.
Okay.
So Rafion was like, well, shit, I fuck with Eric. I like that gym. I want to go there and train. Raf gets a Airbnb, starts training at Extreme. Sergio unfortunately blows his knee out. Sergio's out of the fight. Duke Rufus is like, oh, well, you can come back and do your shit. And he's like, nah, bro, like I'm already committed. I'm already started, camp here. I like the flow that I have, like the teammates that I have. I'm fighting Juan Archuleta. Me being a Dwayne Ludwig guy, that kind of, I was like, okay, I kind of understand what we're going up against. Rafion won the title, knocked out Juan Archuleta. So then he's like, yo, bro, like I'm committed to you. I'm committed to this gym. I'm committed to training, doing everything we can. Patchy's on the other side of the bracket. How is that going to work out? I was like, bro, like we literally have Tiger and Patchy and Rafion all in the same gym training. I was like, I'm not worried about this side of the bracket right now. I'm worried more about Patchy and Tiger because those two might end up fighting, which they did.
Right.
Tiger had no problem training back in Russia or Dagestan, wherever he was at.
Yeah.
But I was very open with everybody involved. Said, Pat, like you're our guy. You train at Extreme. You don't use me as a coach. I coach Rafion. If this happens and you guys end up fighting each other, I'm committed to him to see this all the way through. No problem, coach. I completely understand. I go, I will make sure that it's, diplomatic, that you're getting your cage time. You're in the cage. I won't be watching. I actually flew out to Houston to be with Raf when they ended up fighting. Ended up fighting for the final. So, bro, it was tough.
Yeah.
Like you never want to be in that position, man. But like I committed to Raf. That was part of my, promise to him. But I wanted to make sure that like Patchy also was getting what he needed.
Right.
Dude, it was probably one of the hardest things I ever had to do in my career.
That sucks, man.
Dude, it sucks. But like that happens so many times coming up through Extreme. Is like I remember Tyson Griffin fighting Evan Dunham, and like Evan was approached with this short notice opportunity to fight Tyson. And it was like, dude, you have to take that opportunity.
Yeah.
You know, and Evan fought him, Evan beat him. And I know there was a lot of tension there throughout the gym. You know, I remember when Bonner fought Mark Coleman. I remember when Randy fought Mark Coleman. You know, there was like those dudes were all training at the gym together.
Yeah.
So it's just part of the sport. It's part of the sport.
Yeah.
But I think for me, I'm thankful because I'm like I'm built a lot like Randy in the side of I'm a competitor.
Right.
That it's not personal. It's not like I'm not trying to harm you.
Right.
I'm not trying to be like, you know, like not your friend. I just want to win at the game. Right. That's all it is to me is the competitive side of things. So to get back on with the Patchy situation, you know, Patchy and I never really worked one-on-one together other than like when he moved to Vegas, held some pads for him, helped him out with the James Gallagher stuff. But, you know, that was, I think a lot of our relationship was awry because of me cornering Roth.
Yeah. Yeah. That's tough, man. Is it better now?
Oh, 100 times better.
Good.
Like, dude, I talk to Pat a lot. Like,
Yeah.
I talk to him a lot. I love my relationship that I have with him because it's not coach and fighter. It's two colleagues.
Yeah.
And then I just want to give him the best resources available to help him win, bro. Like I truly care about him and his success. And it is on us as a gym, as a facility, to give him the best opportunities to be successful. You know, like you know, I made sure Kai was available for him. I thought Kai was a very good look for him throughout camp. Cody Stamen, very good look for him throughout camp. So that loss is on all of us, bro. Whether I'm in his corner or not, we failed as a gym to get him to where he needed to be to win.
Back to that fight, though, you know, he looked like he was in cement. I know DC kept saying that a couple times, but he really did. And I even texted you. I said, he looks really nervous. You know, like not nervous to fight, but like, you know, you hear about those UFC big lights.
Sure.
You know, he looked like a deer in headlights a little bit.
Yeah.
And he couldn't get out of the way of that right hand.
Yeah.
You know, Southpaw Orthodox, he that straight right just kept landing.
Yeah, I thought, you know, Mario Bautista did an amazing job. I think John Crouch is one of the best coaches in the game, and I think that he doesn't get as much recognition as he should. Randy, his striking coach, did an amazing job. I think they did. They were very smart with attacking the body.
Yeah.
Getting downstairs on Pat. Kai and I were kind of texting back and forth. I would love to see Pat put more knees up the midline to try to negate some of that. But Patchy is that type of striker. He's kind of a plotty striker. I really wished he would have shown more level change and made more attachments, especially in the first round. Just by getting some attachments, I think making the threat of the grappling would have nullified some of the striking that was coming back at him, but we didn't see that. I don't know what their game plan was, so I can't comment on that. But like I said, man, like that loss falls on all of us. Like we have to be there, and we have to make, you know, we have to give Patchy the best looks and give him the best opportunities to win.
Yeah. Yeah, Bautista quietly putting together a great resume. 8 in a row now.
I think to tail off of that, like his stock should really go.
He needs a top 10, top 5 guy.
Bro, like he didn't beat like I think Mario should deserve a lot more credit than we are thinking that Patchy laid an egg too.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like I think that
a
lot of credit should go to Mario, John, and Randy and those guys at the MMA Lab because they did their homework, but they also beat a fucking grizzled ass vet. Like, dude, Patchy's no joke, man.
Yeah.
Like I don't care. I get it. It's in the gym, but I see Patchy going against the best bantamweights in the world and what he's capable of doing. So a lot of that credit does go to Mario as well.
Definitely. You know, he lost to Jon Jones, I think, but his only other loss is Corey Sandhagen.
And that loss to Trevin was, I'll say, fluky. It is what it is. Like you can get caught on an off night.
Correct.
Trevin hit him with something good.
Yeah.
Got him good. You know, but yeah, since then, man, this guy's been on an absolute roll.
Yeah. I'd love to see him get that Cheeto fight or maybe even someone higher than Cheeto.
Sure.
Honestly.
Sure.
Because he's been
a quality win, man.
Yeah, he's been quality. Pyfer Gastlum, we don't have to spend too much time on that. I thought that went about how we all thought.
I was a little disappointed to see Pyfer not get the finish.
Yeah.
I was kind of thinking that he would.
Gastlum was kind of coming on at the end too, and then that third round, I was like, "Oh, is he gonna?"
Yeah, credit to Kelvin is hanging in there, and dude, that dude's just a beast, bro.
Yeah,
Kelvin's a dog.
He is.
And those guys in Philly, bro, continuing to roll.
Yeah, him,
continuing
Brady,
to roll. We actually go head to head next week with Andre Petrowski and Edmund. You know what I mean? So those guys fight next week in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So, but man, the boys and John Marquez, credit to those guys. Hats off, man.
Yeah.
He's building an empire out
Yeah,
there.
honestly, he really is.
Yeah.
All right, let's.
Pat Sabatini's last fight.
Pat Sabatini, Petrovsky,
Sean Brady.
Pyfer. Yeah, they got a squad.
Yep.
All
Dean
right.
Thomas out there.
Who?
Dean.
Oh yeah, with Sean, right?
And he was in Pyfer's corner last night.
Oh, was he? I didn't even see
Yeah,
him. I
yeah.
guess my bad, Dean. I didn't even see him. After the Sopranos thing, I can't even.
Oh,
I can't even think about
block-
Dean Thomas anymore.
Shut up.
All right, the co-main event. I told you this off camera before we started. I am all the way sold on Nunes and Harrison. Like all the way sold. I cannot wait for that. For that to happen. That went about how you expected. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you said you wanted to see the later rounds too on the episode with Luke.
If it made it.
But 5 seconds left in the second. She was about to take that arm home.
Yeah, it was a beautiful setup.
Yeah.
She was fishing for the head arm choke. I think Julieanna, because she wanted to get the arm out of the way, dug underhook. And, it's very similar to what we're seeing in Sean Brady's game with the topside half guard.
Yeah.
He's going to hunt guillotine. He's going to hunt Kimura. He's going to chain them together. It's a reverse half guard. He's looking at the feet. And, boom, she grabbed a hold of that arm, bro. And it was a panic tap.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, ooh, do I miss?
Yeah, no.
It was like, oh, bro, my chicken
my shit's
wing.
about to go Minotauro.
Yeah, it's gonna go. So, bro, happy for Mike Brown, another champion under his belt. In my mind, Mike Brown is constantly just stacking champions over there at ATT, bro. He does a phenomenal job. Credit to Kayla. And like she said, we all know that weight cut's got to be awful.
Bro, she looked huge compared to Julieanna.
Man. When that bell rung,
dude.
Yeah,
I was looking at their thighs.
Fuck.
And I worked with Julieanna when I was there. I've seen her in person. She's a thick.
Sure.
I don't want to say thick, but
I
she's
get
an
what you're saying.
athletic woman.
Yeah.
She is a very athletic woman. And I was looking at Kayla like, oh my fucking God, dude. She had to have been 60 in there.
Sure.
58, 60. What do you think her weight was?
I would say 55, 60. At least, bro.
Bro, she looked massive.
I think I think she works with Eric Pena, cuts weight, so I think he does a really good job as well as at putting the weight back on healthy, which a lot of people don't understand. And we talk about this time and time again. The rehydration process can be equally as important. Yeah. So when you guys see people that make weight and then the next day they're not feeling well, a lot of times that's because of the rehydration can get fucked up. Especially people that are cutting a huge amount of weight, that rehydration comes equally as important. So credit to them too, getting the weight off correctly, but then rehydrating her back up healthy to be able to go out and perform the way that she did. She looked great, man.
She looked great. And I told you, and I'm interested to hear your thoughts, but I thought she may not have landed a lot of strikes, but I thought her striking looked better.
Agreed.
Even just the way she threw her
Crisp,
punches, the way
straight
she was
left
moving.
hands,
I thought her striking looked pretty good. Definitely better than it did before.
And again, like you and I talk about this a lot, and I think the MMA fan base is starting to catch on how important geography is, and putting them in a position to where she backed her up to the cage and then allowed her judo to take over by the takedowns on the barrier, using the cage, using her trips, got her down in round 1, and then went right back to it and got her down in round 2.
Yeah.
So very efficient, right? Yeah. It was a very efficient showing. I would like to see Julieanna maybe be a little bit more reckless with her striking.
Be Julieanna. Yeah, she wasn't out. What did Luke say? Elbows out.
Elbows out.
She wasn't like that. You know what I mean? She wasn't throwing with reckless abandon.
But I can kind of put my my game plan hat on for them. Hearing their corner was like, that was a beautiful round. Well, I know. I've seen people like, well, what do you mean that was a beautiful round? Like that round. Well, for the greater good of the whole complexion of the entire fight,
Right.
of what they're trying to get out of Julieanna, yes, it was a beautiful round.
Right.
Because for one, they wanted Kayla to work. They wanted her to pummel. They wanted to get some takedowns. There wasn't a lot of danger there on the ground in round one.
Yeah.
So I get what they were saying too in keeping their fighter's head in the game,
Right.
right? Hey, that was a beautiful round for the whole complexion of what we're trying to accomplish. I know that their game plan was probably for rounds 4 and 5.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
When he said that, I immediately thought of you because I was
Yeah.
like, okay, they want to get to the later rounds.
they want to get to later rounds. Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, then Amanda comes in the cage and
You're looking at a trilogy fight. The moment she walked in, right?
yeah,
I'm like, oh,
like I said,
there we
again,
go.
you
We
get
just
at least
packaged
2.
that up for 3.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Actually, no, you're right. 3 because let's say one of them win both at 135. You still have 45. Technically, that's not shut down.
But you made a great point earlier about Jon and Francis. If that's just, who cares?
right.
That is Max and Poirier.
Yeah.
In right. It's just let's make
Yeah.
super fights. Let's make
Ma-
these
yeah.
great fights.
Yeah.
Like these great matchups. Like I still want to see Topuria and Islam, whether it's for a title or not.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Right.
let's make those fights happen, because just like you said, like that. I mean, in the chair, hearing you say that, I'm like, yeah, fuck titles.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the UFC's made it that way.
Right.
We don't care about titles really
Right.
as much anymore. Quick prediction and or thoughts on how that fight goes. All right, guys, real quick, let's take a break from the show to talk about UFC 316 this weekend, and no better place to get in on the sports betting action than by going to mybookie.ag. Will Sugar Sean regain the belt, or will Merab make it look easy once again? At mybookie.ag, it's easy. You bet, you win, they pay. MyBookie has over 150 bets for you to choose from, anything from fights, hoops, football, prop bets, minute bets. It's all there. Head to mybookie.ag and use code VSUSPOD. Not only will you get a 50% bonus match on your first deposit up to $1,000, you'll also get a $10 casino chip. Again, head to mybookie.ag and use code VSUSPOD. You bet, you win, they pay. Now, let's get back to the show.
Oh, dude, how hard is it to bet against Amanda Nunes though? I would love to be a fly on the wall and see what happened in that training room. Again,
Yeah.
we can't talk about training like it doesn't it doesn't equal to what
Doesn't
happens.
correlate necessarily to the fight itself, right?
Yeah,
Sure.
but there are some things that you know.
Yeah.
Right? There are some things that you know in that
and the fact that Amanda left makes me think, as a someone who never fought, never really been on the mats and stuff. The fact that she left makes me think that Kayla was
getting the better
having
of
her
her?
way.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, and I saw Matt Brown make an interesting tweet about Mike Pyle. And he was like, Mike Pyle was the GSP in the training room. Like Mike Pyle, and we all know Mike used to beat the living shit out of every motherfucker that walked into a shrink couture. Bro, to see Mike Pyle ever lose a fight, you just didn't understand why. So my point is like the training room can be very different. And Matt Brown made that tweet.
Yeah.
So when Matt and Pyle fought, Matt Brown was fighting the guy that he was getting beat up by at Extreme Couture. He's like, oh, this dude's going to try to... And so Matt fought him in a way. It was like almost like, oh, this dude big brothered me in the gym. I got to get him out of there right away.
Yeah.
Right? So there is something to say about what happens in the training room does have
An effect mentally.
has to, bro.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious on how that went in the training room.
Yeah.
But you're right, because I think Amanda saw the writing on the wall maybe and was like, oh, I'm going to go off and do my own thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I can't wait. I think I mentioned this on the episode with Luke. I think Amanda will be too quick for her, but I mean, Kayla's only getting better. You're only giving her more time to get better and better and
well,
better.
the blueprint's there with Pacheco, right? When Pacheco fought her,
Yeah.
you know, the blueprint's there.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah.
That'll be awesome.
Well, that's something.
And I love
that-
Amanda. Like, she's just a fun fighter. Like,
Dude, and how respectful was that face off?
yeah, that was cool.
It was a
That
cool
was cool.
face off.
'Cause I thought they had like real bad
I thought so
blood.
too.
But it didn't seem
and
that
she
way.
wanted her in, like come in, and
then she's
bowed,
like, "Hey,
and
do you want to face off?" And Kayla's like, "Let's do it." And
Yeah,
it's like,
so
okay,
it
cool.
seemed like it was like, oh, this is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. Again, top of the year, new TV deal.
Sure.
Amanda, Kayla, Jon, Francis, what's up? Okay, main event. I tell you what, Merab is to quote Sean O'Malley, he is a motherfucker. That dude is quickly becoming the best in that division ever. Made it look easy.
He did.
You know, made it look easy. Got Sean out of there in the third round. No danger at all.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on how that fight went down? Were you kind of disappointed in maybe how Sean attacked that?
Disappointed from a competitive standpoint. Happy for Merab.
Yeah.
I would like to seen Sean. I liked what he did right when the bell rang. Like he put Merab on his back foot.
Yeah.
And started pressuring him a little bit more. And I was like, oh, okay, like this is going to be interesting. And then, then he kind of started easing off, and it was more on his back foot.
Yeah.
And then that's when you saw Merab start attacking with the grappling side of things.
Yeah.
So from a game plan standpoint, I would like to see Sugar pressure a little bit more and do what he did early in round one. And I think that's where he had his most success, but it wasn't much. Yeah. Right. But yeah, I mean, dude, again, you're fighting a motherfucker in Merab, and I think the only way to get a guy like that out of there is put a hole through his head. Like that's it. Like, you're talking about a zombie, dude.
Yeah. Did it seem to you that Sean was thinking too much about getting taken down? Because it felt to me that like he made it clear that like in the last camp he only wrestled for like the first week or whatever, and then blah blah blah. In this camp he made it a point to say he's been wrestling a lot, and then in the fight it felt like he was very focused on. He's like, I know this guy's not going to knock me out.
Sure.
So let me just like really focus on the takedowns.
So
it
looked like to me when he started going backwards that he was trying to set up a trap.
Yeah, like he did with Aljo, maybe.
Exactly. So what I was seeing was when he would get backed up to the cage, he would be orthodox. He would slide over into southpaw, which somebody like Israel Adesanya does very, very well, and now just made that connection that those guys were training with each other.
Yeah.
But what we call that is a drop step. So what he would do, a drop step or shake, and then when he lands on that back foot, I was expecting that southpaw cross to come out. It works even better if you can get him to throw Merab to overthrow his right cross. You can slide into that next stance and then snipe it from that position there. So I don't know the game plan. I don't know what they were trying to do. I was trying to put myself in their shoes and think, okay, what's he trying to accomplish when he gets backing him up? Was he trying to set a trap? I thought he did a lot better on some of his takedown defense stuff.
Yeah.
I thought he did well there, but it's only a matter of time with a guy like that. Right? When a dude relies so much on his cardio, he don't give a fuck if you get back up. He's talking about mat returns, and that's what he wants. He knows at the end of the day he's gonna eventually drown you. And bro, that's what he ended up doing, and was able to find a fucking almost like an Ezekiel, like a topside choke.
I was gonna ask, what is that? Like a north-south or like a?
It would look like a modified Ezekiel north-south, or kind of had it set up from like a Jeff Munson position, but with a hand over top. I literally saw this get and then the tap, and I just closed my iPad and I was like, going to bed. Yeah. That was that for me.
Merab and Corey seems to be next. You think that's an interesting fight, or do you think Merab kind of does what he did to Sean?
I do like styles make the matchups, right?
Yeah.
I think Corey does have a unique style. I think Luke Thomas made a valid point when he brought in Ryan Hall. When he talked about the 50-50 guard and being able to introduce the leg locks. That interests me a lot when I was like, oh, can this be something? Now, again, I'm not doubting Merab. What Merab is doing, bro, is his
resume is crazy.
It's absolutely crazy. But now you're thinking I'm thinking from a defensive coordinator standpoint, like you got this crazy offense and how are you going to defend it?
Right.
What are some of the wrinkles that you can put in? And I thought Luke brought up an interesting point about Ryan Hall and the 50-50 and introducing the leg lock systems and maybe doing something to try to make the ground game a little different or throw up some new wrinkles to the ground game of what Merab's showing on the ground and pound.
Yeah. It's going to be an interesting fight. I actually think MMA math is so funny because I think Corey can beat. I think he has the style to beat Merab.
Agreed.
But then I also think Sean, if they keep it on the feet, I think Sean could beat or would beat Corey.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah.
But then
it's crazy how it all shakes out, right?
And then you have Aljo who beat Corey.
Right.
But then Corey would beat Merab. Then Merab beat Sean. Sean beat, you know what I mean?
Umar, the way Umar beat Corey.
Umar, yeah.
And-
Umar and Sean would be fun.
Yeah,
You know,
Umar
that'd
and
be
Sean
fun.
would
'Cause
be really
I don't even think Umar would shoot for a takedown.
Well, I heard, you know, like some of the people I listen to the most is Luke. They talked about what happens if Sean loses. Would this be a possibility for him to move up to 145?
I don't think he's that big.
I don't
mean,
think
he's
so
a tall
either.
guy, but I don't think he's that big.
I don't think so either.
And I kind of think he would get like,
Overwhelmed.
yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I don't know. I saw that clip of Luke saying that.
Yeah.
He's a tall guy, but
Sure.
he's not a big guy.
What do you do with Sean now, if you're the UFC?
I think Umar would be awesome. I don't know if Umar's booked.
I don't think he's booked.
Or what I would love is the Jan rematch. I think because that fight was awesome.
Yeah.
That fight was so good. And
I
Jan's been chirping at him too.
I think you need to get O'Malley a get right fight.
You think if he loses a third in a row, you think it like crushes him like mentally?
I just think he needs a get right fight. You
But
know
who
what I
is
mean?
that? He had that against Cheeto for the title.
Well, I know
Figgy.
Figgy might be the one. I
Yeah.
think that's a good matchup. You know, you got Cody No Love fighting next week against Honey.
You can't do that.
I'm
You
just
can't
saying.
do
I'm just
that.
throwing names out there.
That's my.
You
That's
got
the
Mario Bautista and Sean are teammates, essentially teammates.
Okay.
Right,
I
but
didn't
it doesn't
know
mean they're not willing to fight. I mean, they both came up under the MMA lab. Now that Sean O'Malley's kind of doing his own thing, but I know that there's a connection there. Is my point.
Sure.
But you know, Mario, shit. You might need that win, or you might need that fight to go put yourself in a better position to go out and fight for a title, right?
Yeah.
So what do you do with Sean?
Yeah, I like I said, I think if he needs a get right fight, I think maybe Figgy. But I mean, dude, like I think this is the knock on Sean. Like he wasn't tested on his way up.
Yeah.
You know,
Other than Jan,
other than Jan, which
he arguably lost.
Which exactly. But that was his only fight that he was tested on before getting the Aljo fight. And look, he won. He won the title. He's obviously really good. But there's Corey, there's Figgy, there's Umar, there's the Jan rematch. Like, there's Cejudo. I mean, do you do Cejudo? There's Song Yadong.
Ooh,
Sean and Song would be fun.
Yeah, shit. That's a great fight.
I don't know if that's a get right fight.
Yeah.
Because Song is a dog too.
I'm just saying, man. I don't think you put him against Umar.
Yeah.
I just don't. Like if you're the UFC and you're trying to market and brand the Sean O'Malley train.
Yeah.
Whew, I don't know if Umar is that.
But
fight
it's
for
already
him.
taken. I mean, yeah, you're right. No, you're right. Even though it's taken a hit. Like, okay, you had the excuse he was injured.
I'm
think his
thinking
coach
like
said
Ricky Simone. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, that's too far down. I think.
Really?
I think so. I mean, you know.
I don't
more
know
than
either.
I do, but
I don't know either. That's what I'm asking.
you had the built-in excuse the first time. This time, and he made it look. And you were 100% healthy, and he made it look easier. It's not.
By your own admission.
Right. Correct.
I'm better. I'm healthier. I stopped jerking off.
Yeah.
I stopped smoking weed.
Yeah. It's gonna be a different fight this time.
And I love the fact that he's like, listen, I'm gonna reinvent myself. I'm gonna leave no excuses.
Yeah.
So now you publicly said there's no excuse now.
Right.
I'm healthy. I've changed. I've done this. And Merab made it look easier.
Exactly. So that's why I say like the branding hit. Like it's already hit.
Yeah.
Maybe Umar. Maybe you're right. Maybe not Umar. But I would love to see Jan, Figgy, and then when I said Song, it just popped in my head. I actually think I'd like to see that the most.
Song and
Sean. Yeah. That'd be fun.
Yeah, that'd be a good fight. Merab, what do you think? Corey? That's the fight.
I think Corey, and then, you probably start circling the division at that point. You go back to
Okay,
Umar.
so now he beats, let's just say perfect world, or Merab beats Corey. Does he move up to 45 now that Topuria is not at 45?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, I don't think Merab's that big either.
True.
Like, he may be thick.
True.
The cut may be tough, but
yeah,
I think I think
that just shows
can you
like,
imagine the optics of Max and Merab?
Yeah, man.
Max is 9 feet tall for 145,
True.
and Merab is not. So,
True. I think that's kind of even makes the Patchy loss even more damaging in a way.
Yeah,
It's
because
like,
you did
damn.
have that right there.
Yeah. Yeah. If Patchy went out and, got a good win even.
Yeah.
It puts him right in that fold.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you do with him next? Like, is he? I hope the UFC don't pull no bullshit and just cut him right away.
Patchy?
Like, yeah.
Oh, I don't think they do.
But you know how they are sometimes.
They
like,
can be. Right?
But who does he fight?
I don't know, man. That's a good question. You know,
maybe he fights Ricky Simone.
Pat.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, man,
Or
like
something like
after
that.
kind of talking to some of the boys last night, man, like I love Patchy, bro. And it kind of like that inspires me to maybe try to, you know, see if I can help him and see what I can do. And,
Yeah.
you know, I want to talk to Ollie a little bit maybe. Now, my wheels are turning now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if he's in the gym, you know,
Oh, bro,
he
he's a
should be,
teammate.
he should be, you know, reaching out to you or at least picking your brain on stuff.
Sure.
So,
I know Danny's been helping him quite a bit.
Yeah.
I know Dennis has been helping him. GIF.
yeah.
I mean, it's a family affair
Yeah.
in there. So, but it's all hands on deck. We got to get him right and get him back in there.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, you know, Merab lost his first 2 UFC fights and now look at him.
Oh,
So-
true. Yeah.
So,
No shit.
You know,
Yeah.
shit doesn't matter really.
Yeah.
But anyway, great card. Real quick, Atlanta this weekend.
Yeah, I'm
You
out.
got Mansoor. You got
Edmund. I go to Nashville Thursday for Jeremy for PFL.
this Thursday.
Yeah, so I leave
okay.
Tuesday for Atlanta.
Okay.
I'll be in Atlanta Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm going to fly to Nashville Thursday to corner Jeremy.
Come back Friday.
Come back to Atlanta Friday. We'll have Edmund and Mansoor out there in Atlanta. I'll be back home. I go to Denver to do my seminar with Dwayne Ludwig, with Corey Sandhagen,
Nice.
Trevor Whitman, Boss Rutan,
Yeah.
Dwayne. Then I'll be back home for International Fight Week. Then we got who got booked now? Oh, Chris Curtis is in Nashville versus Max Griffin.
Okay.
And then we booked Ige Pitbull and
Yeah, I
Zell Huber,
saw
Michael
that.
Johnson.
Nice. Oh,
Yeah.
dude, yes. Yes. Are those both New Orleans?
Both are in New Orleans. Yeah.
Yeah, we might go to that.
Yeah.
Because Camille.
I hope so, bro. That'd be fun.
I know. Camille's been.
You know me, I'm gonna be eating gumbo the whole fucking week.
Yeah, bro.
Gumbo and then jambalaya. What'd you
yeah.
have for breakfast?
Po' boys.
Gumbo.
Yeah.
What'd you have for lunch? Fucking
Po' boy.
po' boy sandwiches.
Yeah. So we were talking about it. I don't know if she's gonna have to work that event,
What's the beignet spot?
Cafe Du Monde, but there's better beignet spots.
Yeah.
But Cafe Du Monde's good.
Yeah.
Cafe Du Monde's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm hoping that because if I went, I'd go to Mississippi first for a couple days, go see some friends, then come to New Orleans, have my friends in New Orleans. come
Crawfish is
meet
out of
me.
season, right?
Crawfish, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, June is right
Yeah.
now is when it ends.
Yeah, because I still go down to like the
We
spice.
didn't do our boil this year. This is 2 years in a row
I just thought
now.
you didn't invite me.
No, we didn't do
'Cause
it.
I was gonna be
We didn't
pissed.
do it last year. We were gonna do it for the baby shower and make it like a baby boil. But it's a lot of work, and I'm the
Yeah.
one doing it all. And I'm
Yeah.
like, Camille's like, you're fucking, it's your baby. You got to be around. Blah blah blah. So I'm like, all right, we won't do it. And then this year we just didn't do
That's
it.
bullshit.
Yeah, I know. So next year we have to do it. We have to do it. But yeah, hopefully we'll be in New Orleans. And
Can I ask what your technique is for the crawfish? Because I'm like now I signed up for TikTok just because of the show, and now all I do on
the
my
TikTok trends are coming now.
Bro, now all I do on TikTok is look at
Food?
crawfish.
Oh yeah, there's a guy I follow. I'll have to send you his thing. He's in New Orleans. He does like the butter thing. He throws down. But anyway, yeah, I order them from New Orleans. I get them overnighted, so they're live.
Okay.
They get delivered to the door. Oh, it depends on when I'm cooking. If it's more than like a couple hours, then I'll put them on ice, right, and just let them sit on ice. But you can't put too much ice because they'll drown.
Right.
People think, oh, it's a fish. What? No, crawfish will drown. They live in the shallow.
Sure.
Whatever. So when you clean them, you put them in the cooler. I purge them, which is just a bunch of water. You literally drown them.
Okay.
And they purge themselves. Some people do salt because the salt will actually help get the stuff out too.
Sure. What do you mean? What's getting out? The mud?
The shit.
Oh.
You purge their stomach lining.
Oh, okay.
So they shit. They get all
okay.
the stuff off them.
All right.
You obviously spray all the. You want to clean them off because they're
Okay.
full of dirt and they're mud
Yeah,
bugs.
they're mud
right?
bugs. Yeah.
But then you also, when you drown them, it purges them. So it cleans their stomach lining. It cleans
so
all
you're
that
just
shit
filtering
out.
that water.
And that water filled, yeah. So you do it in a cooler usually because you have a little thing on the side. So you just like drown them. You fill it up and then you open it, let it drain, and you keep drowning them until the water turns clear. When the water's clear, that's when you know that they're purged.
Okay.
They're good to go. Some people use salt to speed up the process. Sometimes that can affect the taste for me personally, so I don't necessarily do it. Anyway, purge them. Get the water going. I have a small. My friends in New Orleans be so embarrassed of me. I have a small like 20 or 30 ounce can, and so get the water to a rolling boil, and then you put in your crab boil powder, your crab boil liquid, And then we do corn, andouille sausage, and baby potatoes, and that's it. Some people do okra. Some people do Brussels sprouts.
I've seen
celery,
like artichoke.
You could literally do whatever you want.
Yeah.
We just keep it to the 3.
Okay.
Baby corn, baby potatoes, and andouille sausage. It has to be andouille sausage.
Oh yeah, don't fuck with don't
Get
even.
Get it to the roll and boil. Get the seasoning in there. We do how many lemons I do? 4 lemons. Boil. Drop in the fish. Drop in the crawfish, and then. No, I take that back. I do the potatoes and sausage first. Takes a couple minutes. I'll pull those out. Then I'll put them on the table, let them rest, put the crawfish in the bucket, drop that in. Once the crawfish gets to a boil, they turn red, they float to the top, they're done. Kill the heat. I put the frozen corn in when the heat's killed, put the potatoes and the sausage back in, close the lid for like 30 minutes. Let all that shit soak up into that, and then it's good to go. Nice. Yeah, it's good to go.
What's your peel technique?
I'll just twist the head, suck the head, I'm a one,
pinch the tail.
One pinch bite guy because I've been doing it for so long.
The fucking butt shoot thing.
No, I don't rip it. No, I just pinch from the tail, push it up, eat it, and then I suck the head first, then push it up, eat it.
Now, what's the I see the fat in there, right? In the head, like people use their fingernail to pull.
I don't do
what
that.
Is that.
I just suck it out because that's a lot of the flavors in there.
Okay.
And it is what it is. Like it's the head. And so there's shit in there. But the flavor's in there. So you suck the head for the flavor and then you bite and then some people make a dip, which is like
I've seen that.
A Worcestershire.
Almost like a fry sauce kind of looking
Pretty
thing.
much.
Yeah.
It's like a ketchup, mayonnaise, Worcestershire, I think onion powder or something mix.
That's been like a recent trend, right?
Yeah.
I want that hot sauce.
People do it. Yeah. I don't use anything, bro. The crawfish, if you make good crawfish, like it should have enough flavor.
Yeah, okay.
You don't need, like I remember one time I went to Hot and Juicy when I first moved out here because I was like, oh, I'm gonna get some crawfish. And they were like, what flavor you want? Teriyaki, this? I said,
fucking
flavor.
Crawfish
I
flavor.
just got up and left. I was like, what do you mean flavor? I don't know what that means. So anyway, that's how I do it. And next time I do it, you got to come for sure.
I'm in.
We just haven't done it in 2 years, which is crazy.
Just feel like I
it's
wasn't
expensive
invited.
too to overnight fucking crawfish from New Orleans.
Yeah, I bet.
Shit down there is like, well, I don't know what it is now, but back then it was like, $1 something a pound. You get a 35-pound sack.
Yeah.
Overnighting a 35-pound sack here, it's like fucking $300.
Yeah.
$260. So, but yeah, it's a good time. Camille makes like dips and people bring shit and got a bunch of beers and music.
I'm in.
Yeah, it's awesome. So, all right. I think that's it. I think that's good.
Now I'm hungry.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to go home and eat too. Sorry, Vic. We went over time. I know. And we were supposed to keep it at like 45 minutes and it's been an hour.
We get to talking.
Anyway, good luck in Atlanta.
Thanks,
good luck
brother.
with Mansoor. Good luck with Ed. Good luck in Nashville.
Yeah.
With Jeremy. And then obviously in Nashville again with Chris. And the International Fight Week. We're going to have some good guests on the show. We've already talked about a few guests that we have lined up. And it's going to be good. We're going to try to get a bunch of people that week. So anyway, anything else?
No.
Nope,
Good.
All right. Appreciate you guys. Make sure... Wait, what's my outro? Thank you guys for watching. That does it for another episode of Verse Us with Eric Nixick. Please make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube. Leave a comment. Let us know who you want to see on the show. Make sure you download the audio version of the podcast anywhere you listen to your podcast, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, all of it. And also, please follow the show on social media at VSUS Pod on all socials. For Eric, I'm Randy. We'll see you guys next time.